Jim here with my review of Big Hero 6. Now, I got to see this on an early preview with my 8-year-old son, and I gotta be honest with you, I was really impressed. From the commercials I saw, I was a little nervous. I thought it was going to be more of a kitschy, kiddie humor thing between a robot and a child, and it was not. It was not like that. It had moments like that, but it wasn't like that, which really impressed me. So this is Disney's 54th animated film. The first team up with Marvel, obviously the company which Disney bought, which I'm a big fan of. It's based on a comic book series that came out in the late 90s. I'll be honest, I wasn't familiar with that comic book series. It did have Sunfire and Silver Samurai, which I think is very cool, but we all know that 20th Century Fox has a stranglehold on all things mutant, so we didn't see that at all. But I think that was a good thing. I think a clean slate without something we knew was a good way to go. It really opens up with the setting of Hero, and we learn right away this kid is a genius. Doogie Howser type kid, out of this atmosphere, stratosphere, intelligence, which is really cool. But at the same time, we learn that his brother is really intelligent as well, and he's at university, as they call nerd school, as Hero calls it, nerd school, but at university studying robotics and advancement and technology, which is really, really cool. The story is advanced with the brother really saving Hero, both figuratively and reality. It's really cool. He gets him in to the school on his own merits, though. Hero earns his way, but there's a tragedy that forces the story forward, and that's where we meet one of the other main characters, Baymax. Baymax is that robot that we see in the commercials, the inflatable one that's all fuzzy and cute and all that stuff. He was developed by Hero's brother to help with health issues, basically with a specific patient, and Baymax's patient becomes Hero. Wants to make sure that Hero is constantly healing, he's okay, and doing well. He realizes, though, along the way that Hero, for whatever reason, can't do that, so he calls in his friends. And the only friends he knows, Baymax, are the friends that Hero met that were his brother's friends at university who were fellow scientists. And what's cool is things develop, and this team comes together, basically through Baymax, comes together, and they utilize the inventions that are shown at the very beginning of the movie to become these superheroes that we see later. And they're a mess as far as a superhero team when they first meet up, but they eventually learn teamwork and come together and become a team as the movie goes on and develops. There were several twists that I didn't see coming. There were some that were quite obvious. I thought, oh yeah, that's, whatever. But watching it with the mind of a child, who was my 8-year-old son, they haven't seen a million films. They have no idea that these tropes exist. So it was fresh in that way, I think. At the same time, there were some twists where I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Well, that's cool. I didn't see that coming. And we also see Hero's development and maturity as he goes through learning the technologies, but also basically he can't become a man because he's still a child, but learning to mature as these things are going on and realize that life doesn't really go certain ways. You can't do certain things that you want to, basically rage building up and you want to act out like that. But what's great, the foil in this is Baymax. And Baymax is not programmed to do that, even though he's kind of counter-programmed at times by Hero. He realizes by watching Baymax that Hero, you can't do these things. And then his team is really cool in doing that too. Some great standouts in this. Scott Adsit, who is the voice of Baymax. I didn't recognize him until I went back and looked him up on IMDb. I know who Scott Adsit is. If you've seen 30 Rock, he is Les Lemon's co-producer, who I thought he was great throughout the run of the show. Seen him in other things here and there, but it was great. He added a tenderness to a character that really didn't say much. It was really cool. He spoke more than the Iron Giant, Vin Diesel, but it reminded me of Vin Diesel's role as the Iron Giant and his effectiveness in that. Another one, T.J. Miller. His character was hilarious in this. Really enjoyed him. He was not a scientist. He's basically a slacker who's a huge comic book fan, and he uses that to become one of the superheroes. And his superhero cracks me up because it has nothing to do with technology. It's basically a culmination of all these things that he's read in comic books and seen in movies, and it's funny. I enjoyed that. The other one is Damon Wayans Jr. Obviously, his dad's a big name, living in that kind of shadow. could be big, and he might, want to overact or something like that. But his character was sort of understated. I was impressed. I really enjoyed his character. Didn't stand out overall to me being, trying to get more attention than he should have. I really enjoyed him. One of the other big names, James Cromwell. Huge fan of James Cromwell. If you don't know who he is, he's the farmer in Babe. That'll do, Pig. Love him. He's a great actor. So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. From the same team that worked on Bolt and Wreck-It Ralph. Big fan of those. Disney's been doing really good with their animated flicks, and I'm not talking about Pixar. I'm talking about just Disney flicks of late. They've had a good run. Meet the Robinsons, I thought was great. Bolt was great. Tangled. Then we had Wreck-It Ralph, which was one of my favorites. Absolutely love that one. So I'm going to hold this one up there. I think it was a great film. A great, I want to say original, even though the source material was from Marvel Comics. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.